Hi, I'm Dr. Jasleen Chhatwal. I'm a psychiatrist by training. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be talking about sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is a set of behaviors or actions that we can take to improve the quality of our sleep as well as optimize our sleep cycle. Since sleep hygiene is a set of behaviors and actions that we can take, so implementing or improving sleep hygiene requires taking those steps. The first thing is to make sure that you're sleeping at a regular time most nights, and then also waking up at approximately the same time. As you may already know, sleeping about 7 to 8 hours is a good amount of sleep for most people. There can be a variance from somewhere between 6 to 10 hours, depending on each individual. You may also want to look at your sleep environment. So check your room where you sleep, see that the bedding is soft enough or hard enough for you. Also make sure that the bed clothing is appropriate to the weather. You don't want your room to be too hot or too cold at night. It's usually preferred that it's a little bit cooler rather than being too warm. In addition, you want to try and see that there's no extraneous sources of light. So if you have any alarm clocks, especially if they have a blue light, you want to try and turn them around or face them down on the nightstand as you're going to bed. When you're looking at your room, you also need to assess your bed partners. So if you have a partner who moves around a lot, you may want to have a little space so that they don't wake you up at night. Another thing I notice for people is that they might sleep with their pets, and pets often get restless at night, and especially cats are known to walk all over, or the dog moves around, and that can be a source of disturbance as well and can impact your sleep hygiene. There are a lot of other steps that we can take gradually to improve our sleep, but I think if you start with some of these, you'll start to see that your sleep hygiene is headed in the right direction. So interestingly, some of the recent data has shown that TVs may not be as impairing to sleep as we previously thought. So if you like to sleep with the TV on, as long as you can reduce the brightness a little bit, it may be okay. I usually ask people not to watch really exciting movies or shows at night, because if you're watching things that are too exciting or having a lot of drama and emotion arousal, then that can impair your ability to go into that parasympathetic drive that you need to have restful sleep. So if you're watching something, make sure it's just light, some comedy, something that just makes you feel more comfortable. It could be a movie or some show that you watched many times before, so it doesn't keep on pulling for your attention. We've noticed that the newer TVs, the kind of lighting that they have, doesn't really impair sleep in the same way that we believed. However, computers and iPads are still a very big deterrent when it comes to sleep. So you want to make sure that you're not working on your computer, your iPad, your screen of your phone. If you need to use your phone in the evenings, as some of us do because we're communicating with family or for work, make sure to turn on the night mode in the phone. That makes it so the light coming from the computer or whichever other screen you're using moves a little bit more towards the yellow-orange spectrum, which tends to impair sleep a lot less. Preparing for sleep is very important. One of the first things to consider, which is akin to sleep hygiene, is that you don't eat very close to bed. You want to eat usually about an hour before you go to bed, if not longer. Typically, I recommend at least 2 to 3 hours, but sometimes in today's world, I notice that people are not able to do that. However, if you have a really big restaurant-sized meal, then definitely take some extra time so that your body is able to prepare itself for sleep. Another thing you should do is look at what time you're exercising. If we exercise very close to bedtime, we again have that sympathetic arousal because we're going and we have all that adrenaline and endorphins in us, and that can also impair our ability to fall asleep. Usually when you're in bed, it's nice to have a little bit of a nighttime ritual. So whether that includes washing your face, brushing your teeth, doing a little bit of reading. You could also do some meditation. There's some wonderful apps that are available for meditation that we'll put down in the content below this video. And then you can finally Make sure that your environment is very calming and soothing, like we had mentioned earlier, that you're not thinking about a lot of the worries of the next day. For those of you who like to plan your next day or tend to think a lot about it, I would recommend journaling or even using your phone to make a to-do list or plan things for the next day before you go to bed, so that monkey brain can rest and allow you to fall asleep as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll continue to present Friday Facts every Friday, and we have one more Friday where we get to talk about sleep. So please let me know any questions that you want to ask so that I can answer them next week. Bye-bye.